Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you today. We have the brand new Spyderco Canis. This is a Kelly McCann design. Kelly McCann is known to be a knife fighting expert. He teaches all that kind of stuff. So it is obviously a more tactically oriented knife. But in the last week that I've had it, which is about how long I've had it, I did an unboxing video the day that I got it. I've learned that it's actually also not a bad EDC. Not a bad one at all. The overall design, the looks are polarizing. A lot of people don't seem to like it very much. It gets called ugly all the time whenever I post photos of it. I will say, when I first saw it in the Spyderco release catalog, I wasn't too excited about it either. But then I saw some videos. I thought it looked a lot better in the videos. A lot of people I really respect, like OCD for EDC, he seemed to really like it a lot. So I gave it a shot, and I will say it looks better in video. It looks even better in person. It is a very unique design. I'm not going to call it pretty, but it is cool looking, I would say. That's kind of how I describe it. Not pretty, but cool. It's one of those things, just pictures don't do it justice. I know we've all said that about a significant other at some point in our lives. No, I assure you, they look way better in person. It's just a bad photo. But unlike all the times I've ever said that, this time I'm telling the truth. It actually does look a lot better in person. It is a Taichung, Taiwan-made Spyderco. It does use the peel ply carbon over G10 scales. Another thing people love or hate. I kind of like them. They've never really bothered me that much. I like the texture. I like the feel of them. Yeah, they're not the prettiest ones in the world, but the texture is exactly what I look for. I do really like his maker's mark, I do have to say. That is a very cool Hollywood autograph signature, and if my signature looked that cool, I would use it as well. That's pretty awesome. It does have a bit of a unique pocket clip on it. I'm going to bring out one of the knives we'll do for size comparisons, but I want to talk about this because I did bring it up in the unboxing, and I want to clear that up. So it looks like your normal Delica clip, but you can tell it's smaller. It's just thinner, and it uses smaller screws. But it is the same hole pattern, but it is a thinner clip. So I was right when I first opened up the box. I was like, man, it looks a little bit slimmer than the clip that I'm used to seeing. But it is the same hole pattern. So your aftermarket clips and all that stuff, anything that fits a Delica and the other Spyderco models with the hole in the clip will work. So just to get that out of the way. But that's enough about the looks and everything. Anything else I want to bring up? I don't think so. Oh, no, there's nothing else weird about this to bring up, right? There's nothing else weird. Yeah, it's this top swedge. Everybody talks about it. It is there just to reduce weight. It does work in the fact that the knife is perfectly balanced. And as a tactical knife, you want that. It is a way to achieve that. We'll get to this in the blade, but I didn't really notice it affecting anything very much while cutting stuff. It's just kind of there. And if you don't like the look of it, you don't like the look of it. But actually, now that I've had it for a while, I kind of like the look of it. I think that's one of the things that makes it look kind of cool. In person, it just looks very complicated and cool, and I like it. You can tell some time goes into grinding these blades, absolutely for sure. Let's do some specs and some size comparisons before we go too much farther here. You have an overall length of just a hair over 8 inches, a blade length of 3.5 inches, a blade thickness very thin and slicey, 0.11 inches, handle thickness also very thin, 0.44 inches, and a weight, according to my scales, of 3.8 ounces. Now, let's bring out some other stuff here to compare it to. We're going to go in a bit of an opposite order this time. We're going to save the Spydercos for last because this is a Spyderco, but we'll bring out the usuals here in a moment. We have your full-size Benchmade Griptilian, your full-size Bug Out. So you can see it's a pretty big knife, a little bit, roughly the same size as the grip, just a little bit larger, and quite a bit bigger than a Bug Out. And then next up, I'm going to bring out some other kind of largish tactical knives because I got to pull one of them out of my pocket because it's what's in there today. We have the Microtech SOCOM Elite, a little bit smaller than that, and your Cold Steel Recon 4. So yeah, smaller than both of those. Recon 1, sorry. Recon 4. That doesn't exist. I'm just making stuff up today. All right, now let's start bringing out some of the usual Spydercos. I am betwixt Para 3 lightweights at the moment, so you're not going to see the Para 3, but we have your PAM 2. Again, just a little bit bigger than a PM2. And Delica 4. This is the Fancy Pants HAP 40 Sus 410 pack of wood version, but all the same size. And then I'm going to bring out some of the bigger Spydercos, and we're going to talk a bit about one, especially in one dimension, because this reminds me of another Spyderco a lot in the pocket. So we have your Spyderco Shaman. It's very similar in size to the Shaman. And the Manix 2, this one represented by my very old Manix 2 lightweight. The reason why I want to bring the Manix 2 lightweight out is in the pocket, and we'll talk more about this when I get to the carry. It is a tall knife closed, so I just want to show this dimension because it's very similar in height to a Manix 2, so just a bit shorter in that dimension. So yeah, if you put them side by side like this, probably see it better. Yeah, or even trying to kind of overlay them here a little bit. I'm just going to get that to hold them that way. You can see it's almost as tall as the Manix 2. So that's something to keep in mind because the Manix 2 is, for being an amazing knife, it is a bit of a pocket dominator. So we'll talk more about that as we go on. But first of all, let's talk about this blade. It is a very nice hollow grind, about 22 thousandths behind the edge, razor sharp out of the box. The Taichung Spydercos always have great edges on them. Cuts great. It is a Wharncliffe, obviously, S30V steel. For $192, which I didn't get to yet, some people have been disappointed by the S30V. It is Taichung. They always cost a little bit more. And this grind, obviously, ain't inexpensive to do. Whether you like it or not, you have to admit that that's got to cost some money. So I'm not really too horribly upset about the price. I'm not going to call it a bargain by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm not too upset about it. I would have rather seen it like 160, but 192, not great, but not the worst thing I've ever seen. But yeah, I do love the blade a whole lot. I like me a Wharncliffe. I like this one a lot. As I hinted at before, I don't even notice this swedge when I'm actually cutting cardboard and stuff like that. This thing is a great cardboard cutter with that hollow grind. It's thin enough behind the edge, very thin blade stock. It's a great slicer. And I don't even notice this swedge. I don't feel like catching on anything or nothing. I think it's because that hollow grind, whatever material you're cutting through is kind of deflected away from it anyway. That's my theory. I don't really notice it. I just don't notice it doing long cuts in cardboard. What you do get with that swedge, though, is you still get a nice reinforced tip. You get a lightweight blade, but you still get that nice reinforced tip. So I definitely think there's a valid reason for it. And yeah, I really like the blade on this. And using it, it's excellent. It's a really, really excellent blade. Ergonomics, also, I would put in the excellent category. Pretty aggressive jimping up here on the actual scales, but on the liners, but not as aggressive on the blade. But you have that nice little thumb ramp. You're really locked in. It's not uncomfortably aggressive. It's just pretty aggressive. You're not going anywhere. I've already mentioned I really like the texture for EDC kind of stuff. I think this is a perfect amount of grip on the peel ply carbon scale, so I have no issues there. No hotspot from the pocket clip. It's actually excellent. That slightly slimmer pocket clip, I don't really feel it at all. It's not touching my hand at all at the moment as I'm squeezing on this pretty hard. You're really locked into it. I have no issues, and obviously being kind of a tactically sort of knife, it works great in a reverse grip as well. Just about any grip you can think of, it works very well in. Very, very, very happy with the grip on it, and the overall ergonomics are just excellent. Now, as far as the carry goes, I told you, pretty thin blade stock. Weight's not bad, but how does it fit in the pocket? This is where there's a bit of an issue. I don't mind that it sticks out a bit. This is kind of a tactically oriented knife. I understand that a lot of them do because you want to be able to grip it fast. Get it. I'm not going to knock it for not having a deep carry clip. I'm not going to do that. But it is very tall in the pocket. Like I said, it reminds me of the Manix 2, which is kind of a pocket dominator, and so is this. And the downside is, too, that aforementioned jimping, you do touch it as your hand goes by, so your widow pinky is going to feel that. It's not horribly, like, it's like a tear your skin up or anything, but you do notice it. And you got anything you have, something delicate in that pocket, you know, it's no flipper tab sticking out, but you do have that jimping there, you know, chewing on whatever's in the pocket. So keep that in mind. Yeah, this jimping right here, you can see, like, as your hand would go by that, it's kind of sawing on you a little bit. The action on it is freaking outstanding. I did take this apart just to verify that it has the new pivot bushing. That I don't think I need to verify that anymore. I think I'm just going to assume if it's Taichung Taiwan, they have it because they've been doing it on all the CQI stuff, and it does all the CQI compression lock. That is, they're doing it on everything. So it does make for a very smooth action out of the box. I did open this up to verify that, but I did not lube it or do anything. I just opened it up, looked, said, "Yep, there's pivot bushing." Put it back together, and yeah, that's the out-of-the-box action. You can do all the Spidey stuff with it, super easy. The hole is extremely well placed. Thumb flick it, Spidey flick it, open on the compression lock, all that stuff you want to do. It is as smooth as the day is long, and really love the action on this thing. And with that lightweight blade, it still drops really, really quickly. So, what are my overall impressions? Yeah, 192 bucks. Not amazing price, but I do like the overall functionality of the design. The looks are going to be up to you. I think it looks much cooler in person, and I love the ergos. I love the blade. It's just my only downsides are 192 bucks, which I'm not super upset about, and that it does carry pretty big. It's just a bit hard to get your hand past and all this stuff. But other than that, I like me a Wharncliffe for EDC kind of stuff. I really like it. It's also good for tactical kind of stuff. I know Michael Janich, who designs another Wharncliffe, tactical blade for Spyderco, the Yojimbo and the upcoming Yojumbo, has described it very well, that just as your hand's moving in an arc, you still get all the power all the way to the tip. So I'd like Wharncliffe's. That's one of my favorite blade shapes, probably maybe even my favorite blade shape lately. I've had a whole lot of them. So yeah, I really like it. I would recommend it if you're willing to spend the money on it and you know what you're getting into, that it's going to be a bit big in the pocket and that's a pretty big knife. Go for it. I think it's a pretty cool knife. I'm really digging it. I have no plans on getting rid of it. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.